go ahead and start recording this here. And so like I was saying, we're here to look at stuff, potential moves that may be approaching within the next time frame of the day, the week, or the month, because all of those have started anew. Like on the Wiz when they was like, can you feel a brand new day? Well, we have a new day, we have a new week, and we have a new month. So we can definitely feel something. And so the point of today is to try to feel around and find some sort of player out here that is begging for our attention because they are about to put up numbers, if you know what I'm saying. So right off the bat, I think somebody did post in the chat about W and some more stuff. Let me just go ahead. I'm just going to go off of, your assist. So you pass me the ball and I'm going to do my best to score some points. So the first and foremost, let me go to so this is all listed in the post your charts. One of our members posted and said they did some work on W, so that's Wayfair, I believe, Roblox and Walmart on the weekly and the monthly. Okay, thank you. And so let's take a look at those right off the bat. We're going to go W. And so to make this easier, if you do have a TradingView or a paid subscription to TradingView, let's go ahead and put, that's like a 4 time frame chart on here. So let's split this up into 4 boxes. And so what we'll do is we'll put a different time frame on each one of these. So we'll have the day on the left, we'll have the week on the right, top right, and then we'll have the, matter of fact, let's put the 4 hour, the day, and then down here we'll have the week and we'll have the month. And so what'll also make it easier for us to see is what we can do is also throw the key indicator, the autostratic auto generated trade ideas. We can throw that on there, just so we can easily see when it has a actionable signal. So for instance, we see right there on the 4 hour it does have a hammer. Let's get rid of some of this other stuff because we just want to see the actionable signals right now, and then we can zoom out and see what's going on with the actual price action over the course of a longer period of time. So right now we do have that hammer, potential hammer there on the 4 hour. And then if we copy and paste this onto all of our charts, so it's not just showing on the 4 hour, really quickly, just pasting that one indicator on all of these. All right, so now all of those are showing the autostratic ideas, and we just want to take everything else off so that it's easier to see what we're trying to see. And once again right here, just removing everything else so we can see what we're trying to see. All right, so now we see that on the 4 hour we have a hammer, on the month we have a shooter, and then on the day we have a shooter as well as potential PMG back to the upside on Wayfair. And so just taking a better look at Wayfair, if we go strictly to the day chart, what I like to do is look for support and resistance. And so with support and resistance, it comes in many types of varieties. So you'll also hear people talk about broadening formations, which is, a type of support and resistance. You'll hear people talk about supply and demand, which is a type of support and resistance. And you'll hear people talk about order blocks, which is a type of support and resistance. You'll hear people talk about fair value gaps, which is also can serve as the types of support and resistance. So you have all of these different measures finding your support and resistance on a chart, or basically where you have a support and then when you have a ceiling. So you have a support which is supporting you, like you're walking in the house, you're walking on the floor is supporting you. You're walking in the house, you jump up, and the ceiling is rejecting you when you hit your head on top of it. So it's just all types of different types of those general ideas of support resistance. So just eyeballing this, I'm looking at where the floor is on W, and I can see, you know, a support zone around here where prices bouncing in this area here, prices bouncing in that area right there. So just off of that, I would say this could potentially keep going down, especially with that shooter. Even though the candle is green, what we do have here is sellers stepping in and driving this price down, creating this shooter type candle with that wick. So this is a price with at a certain point, that gray line represented the high. So this candle was green and the price was at this high, but the sellers came all the way back and drove the price down to here. So the sellers could still be around and try to drive this further down. So we want to be acknowledgeable of this shooter, and then we also want to be acknowledgeable of this potential support down here where price could gravitate towards before it starts to actually reverse up on Wayfair. But just playing that on the daily, like you see your trigger for entry would be to the downside right there on Wayfair, playing that to the downside. Then if we throw the strat teach on here, we can see that time frame continuity is kind of confused. It's up on one time frame, down on one time frame, up on another, down on another. So we will want some consistency within these time frames. So again, we'll have a new day, we'll have a new week, and we'll have a new month come tomorrow. So if this was to go bearish, all of these would actually trigger to the downside and turn red, creating our time frame continuity from the day to the quarter down. So we want to also be mindful of that, and we also want to be mindful that it could also go up, breaking upwards, and it could change all of these to green except for the quarter, depending on where the quarter open and close is. So in order for that quarter to change, we will have to get all the way back up to this level here of 67.30. So it has a longer race to run in order to turn that quarter green than it has to just drop and turn the day, week, the month red by just opening down. All it has to do that is open down, and it'll turn all of those to the red side, to the red side. Let's just call it the dark side. It'll turn all of those to the dark side. So you just want to be mindful of those levels on W, and we do have that shooter there on multiple time frames. I believe also we have the shooter on the month as well as on the day. So we just want to be mindful of what the price action is actually telling us with that candle formation, is that the sellers are stepping in on Wayfair, and we haven't yet reached a major support zone. So just eyeballing this, just to finish this out, this daily time frame could present some support near this swing low right here. So this swing low right here could act as support, which it already has potentially done. So if it does come back and reject off here, then we could expect it to try to retake the high that is creating right here on Wayfair. So these two levels would be pretty interesting, as well as the strat trigger, which would be that level there. So 57.77 could potentially act as support. 58.70 could be your potential entry for puts, and 60.98 could be a continuation to the upside from off of the support. And then we also had Roblox in disguise. So Roblox used to be somebody. Oh, let me make sure that's changing on all of those. Roblox used to be somebody. And so on the 4 hour we have an inside candle. It's not showing anything on the day. Hold on, I don't have it on. The week or the month. But I do like your inside candle. So this inside candle I would play on a kind of intraday scale, because the inside candle is consolidation. And so what that inside candle there is doing is that it's consolidating within the range of the previous candle. So it's like inside of the previous candle, literally, which is why you call it the inside candle. So what I like to do with Roblox is play this short term. So short term, looking for a break within these levels right here on Roblox. And then mindful that we did have this gap fill already, where it's filled this gap from where it was. Hold on, I'm sorry. Let me scroll up so we can see the full gap. So this is a gap in price where it looks like it dropped for earnings. So it dropped all the way from the top of the top right here all the way down to there. And so we have this gap on Roblox that we would like for it to recover and recover all of that gap. Fill that gap. So we have a gap right there on the 4 hour. Not necessarily saying that it would do that, but in a perfect world we will be looking for it to try to fill this gap if the momentum is for sure, or at least get to the 50% level of the gap, which is represented by that dotted purple line. And so I like those inside candles because it specifically gives you a range. Okay, the inside candle up right there, and then the inside candle down on the lower level. So that's the 2 up. So we're looking for a 2-1-2 up if it breaks that green line, and then we're looking for a 2-1-2 down if it breaks the red line right here. So I like those inside candles. I would like to specifically see them when I'm trading just for less than a day, a couple of hours, just looking for a quick momentum play. I'm looking for this on the 4 hour or the hour. And then the daily inside candles, I'm looking for, maybe holding for a day or so. But I like those inside candles when they do appear, because they give you a range already that you can break out of. And actually the range is right here, I'm sorry, and right here. And the more conservative would be right there. This will actually be a target point to the upside there. So we have more magnitude to the upside than to the downside. So the magnitude is the distance from the entry to the trigger, to the take profit, the first take profit, which would be the high of that previous candle there on the 4 hour, visualized by that. So you have your bullseye. So if it reached there, that's the magnitude, is the distance between this green line and that take profit level. As well as here on the downside, why I say we have more magnitude to the upside is, in theory, this would be the first take profit right there, the low of the previous candle, offering us more magnitude to the upside on the 4 hour here. So we have a wider range to run. If Roblox was to go up, then we can look for it to reach 3409. But if Roblox goes down, we could be looking for maybe some potential support to be happening at 3307, which is only a couple of cents of a move. That's on the 4 hour. So I saw that trigger on the 4 hour, so that's why I'm setting the take profits on the 4 hour as well. But if we were to have some sort of signal on the day, we don't necessarily have a signal. We do have a potential PMG down where it could take out all of this price action right here, but there's not an actionable signal on that. We have like a doji candle there that's basically kind of giving us a range on the hour on Roblox. So if we do look further out on the weekly, I do see a little bit of support here. So what I'm looking at is this last red candle right here before this whole run up, and I'm kind of gonna draw some support based off of those levels. So if I just did the high and the low of that candle, and then I extended this to the left and to the right, and see what kind of support we would get, and see if that has acted as support in the past as well as the future. So we can see right there, it does act as support, right here, and it could potentially be acting as support again. So we do want to be mindful of those levels there, as well as these levels here, where it's been having problems reaching beyond this level right there. That could be visually represented like this. I like this, y'all. Like something like that. So you want to be mindful. Now we have a potential range. Looking at Roblox, if it was to continue, we could be looking for it to take out that 41 and then hunting towards this resistance zone on Roblox. And then last but not least, they did mention Walmart. We going to Wally World, y'all. We going to Wally World. So Walmart is a slow mover there. And Walmart, okay. Look at that, 4 hours. Walmart seems to be on an uptrend. If we're looking at the month here, you see these consistent higher lows as well as higher highs consistently being made by Walmart. This month was spectacular. It looks like it just two up from an inside candle. So you have your inside candle here where it triggered the entry at 60.89 and just went bonkers. So it went past the target of the high of the next candle on the monthly. So this is why I like those inside candles. We had an inside candle on the month where it went two up and just completely went bonkers here on Walmart. So unfortunately, we don't have another pattern on the monthly. We have a potential PMG down now, that where it could potentially take out all of those higher highs that it made. But if the momentum does continue to be bullish, we do also have a hammer right here on the weekly with a little itty bitty wick what we could use as a trigger on the week right there. 65.90 for calls for potentially if this wants to continue. And then here on the day, even though it doesn't say, what we have here is we have a this is a 1-3. It's a 1-3. This is a 1-3. This is a 1-3. So what we could have is potentially a 1-3-2, where this 3, according to Walmart, was bullish. And so what it looks like is that the buyers came in and pushed this, because at a certain point it was down, it was beaten, it was low to that low right there of 64.16. So at a certain point in the day last Friday, Walmart was red, but the buyers came in and said hold up, and they shot it all the way back up to the 55.75-ish levels. And even at a certain point in time, it was a 65.90. So the buyers stepped in and was like, nah, we fighting back. We're not about to die. So the buyers came in and bought it all the way back up. So what we're looking for in a perfect world is for this to continue into a 2 up, which would be triggered by breaking that high 65.90 and continuing to the upside. That's what we want to see happen on Walmart. So this is actually a pretty good play. I might actually be looking at Walmart on the daily there to see if it does do that. In a perfect world, we would have it, just continue to the upside as it has been trying to do on Friday. All right, so that was my quick spiel on those. And so what we also have is, let me go back and check the chittle for shittle. And we have a whole bunch of talking in the chats that I missed. Okay, so we got people saying yes. We got, I can't join. Nikki Baby says she can't join. Are you here now? Why can't you join? I don't see you. I'm not sure why you can't join. It's at the top of the thing, the Discord. Well, it's recorded, so if anyone can't join, it'll definitely be recorded and uploaded. Gary says Nike looks lovely. Also 2-1 on the month. Oh, you know what? I was actually looking at Nike, so Gary is right. And so what I was going to eventually get to is my own personal notes of what I was looking at. So on the month, Nike looks good. Verizon looks great. I'm not going to say great. Nike looks good. Verizon looks good. Lockheed Martin looks good. Meta looks interesting. Spotify looks interesting. And Dick's is always looking great. But Dick's Sporting Goods is what I'm referring to. But those are the ones that I was individually looking at that had interesting stuff happening on the month. And if we could segue, we could go right into, once I get the chat back up, we can go right into Nike. Nike. And I'm gonna try to cause I see a lot of requests in the chat, so I'm trying to go through it as thoroughly but as quickly as possible, so it could also be, you know, more things that can be seen on the charts, but I'm just trying to give my quick analysis on as much things as possible. But don't, you know, take my analysis as an end all be all omnipotent survey. You could always do your own DD and correspond it with others in the Discord to see what everybody sees and see if you see what I see. Isn't that a song? Do you see what I see? So there's your inside candle there on Nike on the month. And so the one thing I hate about Nike is that every time I get into it, I get clapped. I don't know. But I'm not going to stop playing Nikes because the motto is to just do it. Right? But Nike does have that good inside candle there on the month. And it's like the magnitude is not a lot, so the entry for that would be like the really tippy tip of that monthly candle, and a little itty bitty wick that I have to zoom in order to even see. So it's only like a 2-cent move. So like I said, these are players, and I treat it like a pimp. You know what I'm saying? We pimps out here, and these are the thing that the pimps do. Okay, let's look at this another way. This is Halloween, and so Halloween, they say trick or treat. No, let's just skip all of the analogies. What it is that these things have to perform for you before you give it your money. So it has to do a trick or two or three or four before you even get the idea of giving it a treat. So it has to do a trick for you to get a treat. And what I'm alluding to is that this trick of just going up 2 cents is not enough to get my treat. So what I will be looking for on Nike is for it to do something else, something more than just go up that 2 cents to trigger the month. So I'm looking for that to trigger the month. And then maybe on the smaller time frames, I'm looking for it to also go above some swing high. So as we can see right here, this is the most recent swing high that it has broken right there. And so what I'm looking for is on the daily, since we're on the daily, I'm looking for that swing high to be broken and create what's that D word? What's the D word? What's the D word? The D word. Someone help me. I just had a brain, my brain just went out. What's that D word? No, not divergence. Not derivative, no. Swing high. So this swing high is being broken. And what I wanted to do, not demand, it's a ICT word. Not dividends. I wanted to move strongly away from this swing high here. And so what I want is a candle that will open up around that 95.70 level. Distribution is not it. It sounds close to distribution. What is it called when it's like a no, it is. It's the D word. And maybe it's not a D word. I was just saying it the other day. Like I just said it. Displacement. Displacement. It is. That is the ICT word. So displacement. So it displaces strongly away from the swing high, and it's going to create that fair value gap. So what I want is a fair value gap to be created where the price doesn't come back and revisit the boundaries of this candle. So I want, if it does have a wick, I don't want this wick here to overlap with the wick that's created on Nike. So I want to see displacement. Yeah, I want to see, that's what I was saying, the fair value gap created right here in between the swing high. This fair value gap's not an ICT thing. So preferably I want to see that starting on yeah. So that's what I want. I want to see a fair value gap created that encompasses this swing high right here. So maybe even if we have potential fair value gap creation on the 1 hour, so I would need for this to open up strongly and stay above these levels and not overlap back down here. And then the same thing, let's see if we can even go to like the 15-minute. On the 15-minute, we already pretty much have one fair value gap that's been created inside of that swing high. So there's a fair value gap right there. That's already doing what I wanted to do. You see how it basically, the swing high is inside of that fair value gap. So those are the little things that I like to see to give me more higher probability or confluence that this is going to continue to go up. So let's see where it doesn't do that. So here on the 30 minute, I want to see another fair value gap created, which will potentially happen. We just give it 30 minutes to see if price doesn't come all the way back down and go below that swing high, then we're good to potentially get into Nike. So that's what I'm looking for on Nike. I want that swing high. I want that fair value gap creation on the 30 minute. Can we check SPY, QQQ, and SPX? Oh my goodness. You know what? We can. But these are just so boring to me. But it's always good to check SPY. And I have to do it anyway. So SPY is like it's an ETF that tracks the S&P 500. So the S&P 500, I think, is 500 stocks. So each one of those stocks is doing a dance. This one is going to James Brown. Another one is doing a Michael Jackson. The other one is doing the Dougie. This one is I have run out of names of dances, but each one of those different stocks is doing a dance, and then SPY has to copy all of those dances at the same damn time. So all of those individual stocks combined, like Voltron or Megatron, or no, not Megatron, Megazord, to create SPY. And so SPY has the hard task of tracking all of those individual stocks dances and convert it into one dance. So that's what SPX and SPY do. And I'm not going to chart both of them because, as you can see, the charts are exactly the same on SPY and SPX. All right, so specifically with this stuff, I like to do ICT stuff. And so first we look for what the bias is, and then break it down like that. So let me go to the notes right quick. Break it down. I don't want nobody else to hear the sound. This love is a private affair. Alright, so I do not have the chart where I started doing that already up. So we'll just have to do it now. So what we had on SPY is on the weekly, there's this fair value gap right there. This fair value gap right here, which is basically where these two candles, you have a 3 candles, and the number 1 candle never intersects the number 3 candle. So you got 1, 2, and 3. So these candles never meet anywhere, creating this gap where they don't meet, which is the fair value gap. And since this happens in an uptrend, we can use that specifically as support on the weekly there. And as you can see, SPY did come back down into that fair value gap and then use it as support, as it created that hammer, which is the sign of lower price rejection, and the buyers coming in to create that wick right there, where it's wicking inside of the fair value gap. So we also have another fair value gap right there on the week. Where these two, candlestick number 1 does never meets anywhere in between with candlestick number 3, and so that gap in between those two is the fair value gap. And so these could potentially act as support. And then what were we saying, Angel, on this? We were saying that this hammer, because it was a lot of buying coming in, we could potentially be bullish for next week. Oh, you're gonna have to ask Key, because I'm just like y'all. I only got the one thing. He got the full all the tools. But I only have access to the probability rating, the strat score. Well, in order for the fair value gap to be taken out, you will have to have a close below the fair value gap. So I'm not an ICT scholar, but correct me if I'm wrong, but this would have had to at least close below this level or below this level in order for the fair value gap to be invalidated. So those are doing what they're supposed to do. And we have this hammer, like I said, which we can consider bullish, even though it is a red candle. What the candle is actually telling you is an indication that we could be bullish if this hammer, if the buyers continue to step in here on SPY. And so we do have all of those events too that are happening this week. And so Key gave us mention of a indicator. What is that shit called? I always forget, because I don't even use it, to be honest, because I don't like too much stuff being on my chart, and it puts it on the chart. And so it's basically the Forex factory calendar, but it's on your chart. There it is right there. Is it this one? Or? That is not it. That's something else. For some reason it's not working. So there it is. You have to be on the day. But these are all of the events that are going to be happening next week. This is actually not updated, but if you want to go to that website, it should have the stuff that's happening next week and not the past week. So most likely to come tomorrow, this will update. But
try futures. It might update.
I need to pay for that thing. Okay, there we go. Because the futures is already started, so it is already on next week. So there you have the information for next week. So come what in the world? Monday we don't have anything, but Tuesday it looks like we have some stuff. This is saying that we don't, so that's why I kind of don't like using this. What I like to do is go to the Forex factory calendar, or my go-to is investing.com. I like their economic calendar. Invested not, no, it was already up there. So then they have the economic calendar, and then you can filter it out. So we want to do this week, and then we want to filter out all of the different countries. We want the USA only, and then we only want the most important stuff. So we want the 2-star and the 3-star of importance, and then we want to apply that, and then now you have your calendar of events. So Monday you have all of this stuff: construction spending, ISM manufacturing, and if you click on this, it'll actually give you a definition for what all of that stuff means and what it could potentially relate to, or as far as in the market. So yes, we do have some stuff coming up on Monday as well as Tuesday. This is very important, those jobs numbers. So all of this stuff could potentially move the market, and hopefully that stuff doesn't, drop it, and we could have a bullish market. But if we don't, we could always take money with the bears as well. Looking here on, let's go back to SPY, which I could just type in, but I'm being lazy. Okay, it's right here. This wasn't the same chart though. So SPY on a day have more confluence of a potential bearish action happening. So we have this 3 candle here where again the buyers drove price. The price was driven all the way down there to 518, but at a certain point in the day the buyer stepped in and said hold up, and drove price all the way back up to where it is now, 527.37. And so we're looking for this 3 to continue potentially to the upside, and we're looking for a 3-2 on SPY. And all it would have to do would be to break this high right here on SPY, which is not that much of a trick. So again, we'll be looking forward to do some things like form a fair value gap on the smaller time frames, potentially even do VWAP. We want to see how it's acting towards VWAP on a smaller time frame intraday, so we can just have more confluence that this thing is going to hold to the upside. So potentially looking for that fair value gap and that displacement, looking for it to break a previous swing high potentially. If we go down to a smaller time frame and maybe find a swing high that it could displace above, and then as well as seeing how it reacts to the VWAP if it holds above it. So right here, and then potentially if we can go down to a smaller time frame and see if we have any swing highs. So this area right here, we want to see it kind of display strongly above those highs, create that fair value gap, and continue to the upside, stay above VWAP. But yeah, I'm not the biggest SPY player, because I always look at SPY as the team, and it's like the team can only do as good as the players that are on it. So really, I try to get a gist for what SPY wants to do by looking at the stocks that are inside of it, or especially like what QQQ wants to do by looking at the stocks inside of it. So you have QQQ, and then you have all of these stocks that are doing a different dance right here underneath that QQQ has to mimic and create its price action. And so the biggest players in QQQ, It's Nvidia, AVG Go, QQQ is tech heavy. So all of those tech stocks, you got everything from Zscaler to QCOM. You got Microsoft, Moderna, Mongo database, but the biggest players, are Nvidia, AVG Go, Microsoft. So all of those, come together to perform Team QQQQ. And if we look at QQQ, see that QQQ has the buyers stepping in also on the day. And so what the debate was is that what I'm going to call this is a failed 2 down, because even though QQQ went down, it broke. What a 2 down is breaking the low of the previous candle, and you can see that it broke the low, but what it didn't do is close below. It failed to close below the low of the previous candle, which makes it a failed 2 down in my eyes. So what we have here is a failed 2 down that might potentially want to break back towards the upside and become, the next candle become a 2 up. And so what we're looking for, as the indicator suggests, is entry for calls above 452.48 on QQQ. And so that all depends on how Nvidia, AVG Go are acting, if you want to look at those, as well as Microsoft, Moderna, and then what you can actually do is look at the biggest holdings. So like I said, QQQ is a team, and the team is consists of players. And so if you go to etfchannel.com, this will give you the lineups of all of the major teams. So if you just type in QQQQ, and then to the right there, you can see what's in this ETF or what's on this team. So you want to look at that, and then they'll give you the top stock holdings of QQQ, and that's basically who they're paying the most money to on their team, which players they're paying the most money to, and they have the highest percentage of making up QQQ. So Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, Amazon, and Meta make up roughly more than 30% of the action that QQQ does. So these stocks right here basically at at least 30% of QQQ. And what QQQ tends to do is based upon what those stocks do. And then if you list all of them, you'll see that there's even more. So then you have your Broadcom, you have Google. So all of these kind of make up more than 30% of what QQQ does. If you want to be more specific, that's 40%. These stocks, Google appears here twice, so Google is actually more than 5% of what QQQ does. Broadcom is 4%, Meta is 4%, Amazon 5%, Nvidia 7%, Apple 8%, Microsoft 8%. So if you put all of those together, that's 40% of what QQQ does is based upon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stocks right there. So it's like those top 7 is really what's going to drive QQQ. And so if those are going green, then QQQ has no choice than to go green, unless all of the other players on the bench are playing terribly. Again, we have a fair value gap right here that QQQ did respect. And so we're looking for it to potentially be bullish going into next week, but because we do have so much numbers coming out, numbers and news trumps the charts every time. So just keep that in mind. I never represent, baby. Does anybody have anything else that they were looking at? I'm $1 million baby. Wow, 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 wow. Oh man, where's my I'm gonna give y'all a second or two to gather your thoughts. Maybe run the scanner, see what's, like I said, what you see on the weekly, the daily, and the monthly. Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna go get some water while you all take a look at that. I told you to bring me my money on time. I ain't got time for your BS. Do you know who I am? Send. Okay. Did anybody find anything? I didn't scroll down. Shit. I didn't scroll down. People have been saying stuff. Intel, CRM, Lulu, Target, Tesla, CRM, Nexter Energy. Can you look at Nvidia, Target, Starbucks, Hood if you got time? Oh God, Hood, man. What happened to Hood? Lulu and CVS. Alright, so first person who tells me what time frame to look at these things on, so we can get real specific. So I should have said that. You post a ticker and the time frame that you see. All right. I never said, baby. What your mama said, mama. I'm $1 million baby.
Yeah.
play that.
Yeah, them my dog, them my twin, yeah them my, yeah. I like that right there. Hold up. Them my dog, them my twin, them my cuz, them my girl, them my friend, them.
Okay, so Intel does have an inside candle on the week, but if you zoom out and enhance, oh my goodness, we gotta look for some support here on Intel. Intel, I would love to go up, but Intel is just, I don't know. So let's look over to the left. We got a lot of confusion right here. Like, you could say that maybe this is support like right around here, and then you got some support down there. But Intel just it's not cracking, man. You could have this actionable signal and then just keep dumping. This could be like a rally base rally, or whatever what's the opposite of a rally? Down base down. So this could just be serving as like resistance right here. They need some good news. They need some sort of catalyst to get them back in the runnings with AMD and Nvidia and Broadcom and even Marvell. Like, there's a lot of other stuff. They might not necessarily have an actionable signal, but they have the money flowing into them. Intel doesn't necessarily have the money coming into it right now. It is in a consolidation where it's just moving sideways in a box, but you could be looking for a break from the box for it to potentially break those levels there. But Intel it has to break out of this box. It has to break out of the box, and then I'll give it some attention, because it's just been getting beat up for the longest time. It's just been getting beat up at these levels where it could potentially find some support. But I would put my money more on something else that's already performing. But you can watch it at these levels here that I just drew out, the top of that box, 32.45 and 29.77. It could be a potentially wide range, but you want more confluence that this is trying to move in a certain in a direction and not just continue to range. You want it to break out of those other bars. So it could just break out of this inside candle and then find resistance at this purple level, or find support at that purple level. So we want to see it to break out of that whole range on Intel. But I would say, if you're looking at Intel, also look at Nvidia's, kind of expensive, but you could also look at MU, you can look at Marvell, what's another affordable one? MU and Marvell. QCOM is affordable. But AVG Go and Nvidia, you can probably look at towards the end of the week, where the premium comes down on those 0 days. But again, you'll be playing not 0 days, but weeklies. Premium will come down a little bit as Theta attacks those, and then you can probably play those for a quick momentum play. But if you're looking long term, look at MU, look at Marvell, and keep Intel on the bench for right now until it kind of performs and breaks out of that purple range. That's in my opinion. You could potentially play it on the daily, breaking out of that inside candle, or the weekly, coming out of that inside candle. But you really want to get this out of this consolidation here. Teslas. I remember what. Let's take drawings off of there. It said Tesla on the day, MTH. What does that mean? I'm not familiar with this acronym MTH. Mega Time Hustle? Is that what that stands for? Mega Time Hustle. Tesla on the day, Mega Time Hustle. I'm not a big Tesla person either. This has so much daily volatility. It'll be up and then get smacked. But Mega Time Hustle on Tesla. So we have this trend line. They're looking for Tesla to do something in relation to that trend line. So we have these channels here on Tesla. You see consecutive kind of ceiling right there around that trend line. They could potentially use that as a ceiling and then aim back towards the blue line there. So we want to see Tesla break and hold above this trend line here if it was to continue bullish. And then it says on the month we have an inside candle on the month there. Beautiful morning, inside my morning bed, in the morning. Beautiful morning, get inside my morning bed, walk in the morning. So there's your range for the inside candle on the month. So I like these inside candles where we have like levels of support and resistance. So this inside candle is still at like a resistance area. Tesla looks like they have earnings this month also. On the 15th. What is going on? So if you're playing Tesla, the month having an inside candle, that is a sign of indecision. So you're looking forward to break this indecision. The inside candle is a get ready candle, so it's saying get ready for it to go up or go down. And based upon this, we could say because it is at that resistance level, it could potentially be headed down. But you want to have your two levels on the month and just look for that to trigger there. So on the 4 hours, also an inside candle. So depending on how fast and loose you want to play Tesla, you could aim for it to break the 4 hour, trigger the 4 hour, then possibly trigger going up, 2 up on the day or 2 down on the day. But this is not looking really directional to me right now. If anything, I would say, excuse me, that it wants to reject back to the downside based upon this downtrend right here. Nvidia has put entries on the week and could be filling the gap down to 1064 and the D. On the D, I'm also wondering what it bounced off on the 1069. I don't like playing Nvidia because it took my money the other day. But I don't like the form biases. So Nvidia, okay. So Nvidia has the split that's actually coming up next week. Well, this week. Oh, it's I thought it was the 6th. It's the 10th. So that's next week. So they're going to be doing a 10-to-1 split. So if I was an institutional investor, I will be one. You want to, well, any type of investor, you want to buy low and sell high. So the lower they drive Nvidia before the split, the lower the price will be after the split. And then we can see that because Nvidia ran up within the last couple of days, we do have these gaps to the downside here where it could come back and try to fill those. Not necessarily saying that it will, but it is present. And we can see that it's already trying to do that. So you have those two gaps there on Nvidia, and then on Nvidia on the month, you have a 2 up continuation. You got a 2 down, 2 up reversal on Nvidia on the month, potentially continuing to the upside above 115 1158. That's on the month trigger. And then going back to the week, you do have that shooter where price did reject this week on Nvidia. So what Nvidia does can be indicative of what QQQ does, as well as all of the other chips. And so on the week, we have a shooter trigger below here. So if the sellers continue to drive Nvidia down, we may be looking forward to at least retrace 50% of this past week and aim for this gap on the daily. So this candle here is a hammerish candle, but that could also be indicative of a hanging man because it appears in the uptrend, which kind of was verified when it went 2 down. So this was a 2 up, 2 down reversal, and then a 2 down continuation. So we could have some potential downside on Nvidia, like I said, to try to tackle and close below these gap fills before that split to drive the price down so they can eventually drive it back up. Have like another one of these runs like it did this year as well as last year. So within 2 years, Nvidia went from $150 to $1,100. So it's nothing for Nvidia to go all the way back down to 90 and then repeat the same process within the next 2 years. That's how the rich get richer. So if I was an institutional investor, I would want to snatch Nvidia at around $90. That's definitely a discount already on a very fantastic stock. I would want to get hundreds and hundreds of shares of those and then sell options so that I could collect a premium every week. Not saying that that's what they're going to do, but we do have swing highs being created on the daily, and prices also rejecting that high. The stakes could be high. The stakes is high. You know the stakes is high. The stakes is high. You know the stakes is high. What else we got? BA is a BA. N. What am I doing? Okay, so I just want to do some support. So we have this kind of area right here where we have some support. And so that's where BA is currently testing. So I want to see it fall below that support and continue down and potentially take out this swing low. If it breaks that support, which starts with breaking that inside candle on the week. BA is literally killing people, and no one seems to care. So this could be an area where it reverses, as long as they keep getting support by the government in the form of contracts, $1 billion and $1 million contracts. They're gonna keep killing people and keep going up. So this could be a level of support, as it acted as support right here, and it could potentially be doing it right there. If it creates a lower low, breaking this low, then we could see it travel maybe into this swing low down here. Why is my stuff not working? These levels down there. We're looking for to see what it does with this inside candle in the week, which gives us some levels for it to tackle before we could get that price action. So we do have an area of interest with this support, but we do also have a downtrend in the long term that it's in right now. So we want to see a break, if it was to be bullish, above that inside candle, and then see how it acts around 188.63. If it can break above that swing high and displace strongly above that, then we could have a beginning of a beautiful uptrend on BA where it has found support at before. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What time is it? I don't want to be on here for too late. We can do it. So somebody said Lululemon, and I think somebody said CRM. So let's just go through Lululemon on the month. We have a 2-2 down continuation on Lululemon. This is not a good past 3 months for them. On the week, we have a failed 2 down on Lululemon. Let's look over to the left. We can see that this has been an area of support, previous support. Has been an area of previous support, so we're looking for that to potentially use this as support. If not, it could continue to the downside, which is the stronger trend right now, is to the downside. But then we have this swing low right here that it could aim for. It's not really that big of a move. So we're looking to see how it holds below that level there on the week, as well as this initial level here, which is pretty close to that. On the day, we do have this gap that it is trying to fill back to the upside. And sometimes those things tend to respect the 50% of that gap. So we want to see how it does act where it is now. If it can hold above that 50% of the gap and continue to the upside, that could be confluence that it is wants to break higher. And so we have an inside hammer on the 4 hour. So the 4 hour could be your first confluence of where price action, or your first idea of where price action wants to go, breaking that inside candle, whether to the up or to the down. And then you can use the daily triggers as a second confirmation for where price wants to go, or target prices on Lululemon. Again, it is that support. We do have it inside of a gap fill to the upside, but it could be respecting that 50% level as resistance. We want to see how it acts at that 50% level, as well as what it does on the inside candle presented on the 4 hour. Inside candle, excuse me, here on the week on target. So you already have your levels for potential entries on that. Got that little support right there. So this area right here is support, even though it was disrespected, and then acted as resistance, and then came back and acted as support again. So let's just draw it out. So something like that. So with support, resistance. Once it broke through, it acted as resistance, and then it acted as support again. It could potentially act as support again on target. Look at how that inside week plays out. We had this gap fill on the daily, which is already completed. So this could potentially be the next stop. Looking at swing highs, so that's the next swing high, where you could potentially go to 160.80-ish on target. That's if this support holds up. The earnings were bad, but it looks like they've been buying them up for the last couple of days. So if this run continues, we're just looking for that week to play out on that inside candle. Target looks interesting. So I'll do a couple of more and then I'll kind of be out of here. So CRM doesn't necessarily have an actual signal on the month, the week, or the day. The only thing they did was have earnings and dump. So all of the cybersecurities kind of were doing bad last week. Oh, excuse me. So this was a significant area right here. Kind of like so it was support, resistance, then it was support, and now it broke all the way back below there. We want to see this, see how this zone acts on price action. Is it going to be resistance as it was in the past? Again, the cybersecurities have been getting beat up. So on the day, you could potentially be looking for a 2 up, 2 down reversal. Or it could potentially fill this gap. But the downtrend is stronger than the last couple of days. Salesforce has been on the downside as well as the last couple of weeks. So it has a further ways to go where it can find potentially some support in this zone. CRM would have been good to play for earnings last week, but for puts. But I'm not sure if they're done selling it off yet. So Hood, I was looking for it to go up. I caught a bit of the upside here on Hood, but then we have this shooter, as you can see on the week, where it potentially wants to come back down. We also have a 3 candle to the upside on Robinhood on the month, which is interesting. So what we're looking for on the month for the bigger picture with this to be a continuation to the upside, breaking this high above here, that could be great. But like it was just looked at on the weekly, we do have that shooter where it's rejected from that level and coming back down. Robinhood is kind of volatile, so on Friday it really had one of its worst days this week. See if it can get over this 3 down that are created on Friday to the downside. If not, this could be a 2 down continuation to the downside, breaking below there and potentially aiming for here. So in the 4 hour, you have that inside candle with the magnitude being higher to the upside. So you could look initially for a reaction of the levels on the inside candle to see what price wants to potentially continue to go. And since this trick isn't too much of a trick, I would look forward to break and hold above the 50% of the previous candle and use that as a level, or go down and find a swing high if we do have one. Doesn't look like it. Looking at see if it could hold above that swing high right there, and then that 50% of the 4 hour. Where is my Fibby Dibby? I'm not seeing it. That's why. Looking forward to hold that above that 50% over there. God dang it. Alright, I'm going to do 2 more and then we can call it a night. You know, someone said AT&T. Oh man. So AT&T had a 2 down, 2 up reversal on the month. See how it acts in correspondence to breaking this swing high right here. See if we can get that fair value gap displacement. See if we can get a displacement candle that doesn't break and retrace this high, go beyond that high right there. We just got a bunch of 2 continuations on the weekly on AT&T. Again, looking to see if we can displace strongly above this swing high and create a fair value gap on the week as well as the month. Same thing on the day. We can displace strongly above this swing high or even this one right here. We can get that fair value gap that encompasses this, meaning price doesn't drop back below this level where my cursor is right there on the day. And then on the 4 hour, the same thing. Just looking for strong displacement on the 4 hour, not falling back below this level, $18 basically, because it's already done the fair value gap, which traps this one. It's inside that swing high, is now inside of this fair value gap right here. What the hell? So it's inside of it. And so we're just looking for that same thing to happen with this level here. So AT&T looks good if it can create those fair value gaps on the 4 hour. Maybe even the 1 hour also, as well as the 30-minute. Last but not least, I think someone said NEE. So in the month, NEE has been bussing. So we got that swing high right there. We want to see that that displacement. We don't want price to fall below this level right here. On a month level, we don't want it to go back below there, because then the fair value gap will be obliterated. On the week, we have a 2 up continuation on NEE. Same thing, looking for that fair value gap creation on the week. We don't want it to invalidate below this level here, 77.18. And then on the day, what the hell just happened? Same thing, looking for that fair value gap. And for a continuation to the upside. And then we're looking for, pullbacks of 50% of the day for potentially to go back down. But right now this is, super bullish, it looks like. So we're just looking for those fair value gap creations on the smaller time frame. Basically displacing or moving strongly above that yellow line and not looking back down. But that's all I got. I think okay, I was recording, thank goodness. I totally forgot if I was recording or not, but I'll try to upload this as soon as possible, and then I'll probably post some tickets that I was looking at. I was also looking at some sectors that has signals also, so I'll post a list of that stuff. But other than that, if you do have any further questions or charts, you could drop them in the post your charts section. And other than that, you gals have a happy rest of your evening, and I will see you all tomorrow. Hopefully we can get on the Twitch.